How you doing, Internet? Bewildered Bat back again, and I apologize for not having reviewed Gotham or The Flash yet. Partly because I've been extremely busy lately with some other stuff, work and school, and I picked up a new gig along the way, and I'll be bringing that to YouTube sooner or later, hopefully to get it out there because it's something that I believe will help a lot of people health-wise. But today in this video, I just wanted to, this is another one of my rambling, pondering videos. So if you didn't like my last one, which I do think I only got 1 or 2 views on the last one I did, but I'm going to continue to do these just because I think a lot all day about everything. And today I've just been thinking about stuff that us humans might take something's in my throat. Take for granted. As I go through my daily life, as I go through school and I go through work, and what I'm bringing up here is not so much, I don't see it as much in this new thing that I've started. It's not internet or YouTube related, but I think people, a lot of us humans take stuff for granted, like stuff God gives us, like chances He gives us to maybe succeed, to maybe do the right thing, maybe help somebody, maybe whatever day it is that you see this, maybe you had a chance to help somebody and you didn't, and I hope you take that chance the next time it comes around. Because I'm not sure what people's beliefs are on karma and the existence of God. I haven't talked to people about it, which I probably will. But I have a friend or two where I work who believe in karma, and I'm not sure what their opinion on God is. But me personally, I like to believe in both. I like to think that God made karma as a system for humans to live by, and that's a system I feel that we don't always follow. I feel like a lot of us make bad choices and just choose to deal with the bad karma when it comes and hits us in the face. And my advice to you is if you have a chance to do something good or you have a chance to help somebody, take it, because the good karma is so much, the good karma or the good outcome, whatever you want to call it, God blessing you, however you want to put it, is so much better, it's so much worth it than the bad. And that's another thing I don't feel like people realize, is I think that they just decide to go with the bad because they're used to the bad, if that makes sense. They haven't experienced how good the good can be, and I feel like if they just felt it once, that they wouldn't do it again, or they would try their best not to do any, they would try their best not to bring bad karma upon themselves anymore. But the problem is people don't. I'm sure a lot of people don't buy into that. I know there's atheists in the world. I'm pretty sure there's atheists in the world who don't buy into karma and Jesus at the same time. And that's okay. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. I know a couple of atheists, and they're some very cool people. But I would love to question them on just what they think, on their views about the world and everything. But back to what I'm saying. And I think people, when people do something good, they aren't trained to see the good karma in action. I feel like I've seen it before, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've done a good thing or two, and I feel like I've been able to notice the good karma when it comes around, and I know for a fact that I've firsthand witnessed the bad karma, and it's very hard sometimes to stay on the path. It's called the straight and narrow for a reason. Straight making it easy to walk, but narrow, making it hard to stay on. If you walk across a parking lot, this is the best concrete example I can think of, is that if you're walking across the parking lot, whether the parking lines are white, whether the parking lines are yellow, that's straight and narrow. Now, at my school parking lot, the parking lines are white. I haven't seen yellow in a very long time. But the parking lines are white. And the tar, of course, is black as night. And I think that's the best example I've ever seen. Is the straight and narrow is the easiest, at least on concrete, because you can't fall off of a flat surface. You know, like at a parking lot, the line is easy to walk if you're sober, of course, and it's the brightest. And there's the white line and black all around. And it is so easy in our society to fall off into that black that's around that white line. And I know everybody in society does from time to time. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I wish humanity as a whole was better about staying on that white line. Because I think if everybody was better about staying on the white line, the world would be a much better place. Another thing is that I have, this is not really relevant, but maybe this might just help drive the point home. Is I was talking with my father on the phone last night, and me and him and I, whatever's the correct way to put it, stumbled on something that I think is amazing. And I'm so scared that it will be taken from me. Not by any human, not by anything on this earth, but I'm so afraid that our Lord will deem me unworthy to have it, and He will take it. And I'm really hoping and praying that doesn't happen, because I fall off that white line a lot, I feel like. And I really don't want this. I really would rather not have this thing taken from me, because I feel like if I get good enough at it, I can help a lot of people with it. It's just getting good at it is going to be the hard part. Because if I keep showing that I'm unworthy of this thing I'm mentioning, I feel like if I keep showing I'm unworthy, it will eventually get taken from me. But as you know, if you're a Christian, you're raised to believe that God, He forgives no matter what you do. If you wholeheartedly are sorry, and you mean what you say when you say, God forgive me, He forgives you. And gives you back whatever you lost in time. I don't believe He gives it back to you right away. I believe it's in time you get whatever you lost back. And I'm going to work very hard. I'm not sure if He's taking it from me, because it's not like He comes in the room and grabs it. It will take time for me to figure it out, if it's gone or not. And this thing was already hard to do, and it was hard to notice. It took a lot of thought to notice. And I hope it's not gone away, and I've asked Him to forgive me, and I hope He finds it in His glorious, wonderful heart to return it to me again. And I didn't think about it till afterwards, but it's probably the worst thing in the world to lose. It's probably the worst thing in the world to be reckless with like that. But it makes you feel better to think that there are some famous people out there who have done some very questionable things. And I'm not saying they haven't been punished. You know what? I'm not even going to go down that road. They've been punished. I'm pretty sure they have been. But God, in His glory, keeps giving us chances, and I think that's another thing that we take for granted. And if there's any atheists watching this, I'm sorry if this is offending, but this is just a point I wanted to make tonight. Home Alone. But I have a verse in my Bible that I wanted to bring up. I guess this is my journal tonight, giving me notes. Now, if you know anything about the Bible, which I hope my viewers who are watching me do, is that if you turn to the middle of the book, you go to Proverbs, and you go to the date of whatever day it is you're in Proverbs, which today is 10/17, October 17th. So I went to the 10th chapter of Proverbs and to the 17th verse right here. This way back. And it says, there's my bookmark. It says, whoever heeds instruction is on the path to life, but one who rejects a rebuke goes astray. And rebuke, I had to look it up. I didn't know what it meant. And I'm sorry that I didn't know what it meant. But rebuke means express sharp disapproval or criticism of, open parentheses, someone, close parentheses, because of their behavior or actions. Now I know for a fact that I have disregarded many rebukes. Right before I'm finna do something that's unchristian, I see the rebuke there. I notice it, whether it's losing my teeth, whether it's him taking. I don't have false teeth; they're real teeth. But whether it's, I will admit that I like to smoke cigars, and whether it's losing my teeth from smoking, or my liver from drinking. I'm not an alcoholic or addicted to smoking. It's just something I enjoy from time to time. Whether it's those two or it's that thing that I feel like he might have taken from me. I feel the rebuke right before I do something that causes me to lose it, and I sometimes I choose to ignore it, and sometimes I acknowledge. And I think it would be wise for all of us to start acknowledging that type of thing. Like the verse says, I think if we heed instruction, we are on the path to life, which I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I have to think that means path to eternal life, path to heaven, path to a longer life on earth. And I know there's some people out there who feel like that God is not with them. And I've had people ask me questions about the Bible and God, just because I've put myself in positions for people to ask me. And I hope in the future I get more questions like that, because I love to answer those questions. I love to help as much as possible. And I know some people, I've heard it myself, that some people don't think God is there because they don't deserve for him to be there. And if you've ever seen a movie called Cowboys vs. Aliens, you might know what scene I'm finna mention. I never knew how to answer that question until I watched that movie. And I agreed with it. The actor, his name was Clancy Brown, he brought up a point to a young boy or somebody that before you realize God is there standing next to you, with you, you have to earn his presence. Now you might ask me, Bat, well, if he's such a forgiving God, why is he not there anyway? And why must you earn his presence? And I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I can't answer your question, and I'm reading this Bible. I'm not very far. This is my bookmark. I'm in Exodus right now. And let's see where I'm at. Yeah, they're building the Ark of the Covenant, where I'm reading right now. So hopefully, when I get further into it or finish it, I can answer the question of why you must earn his presence. But I believe that is very true. I believe that you have to show him that you're worthy of his presence. Because sometimes I feel like I can feel him in the room with me. I feel like he's here right now with me. On my camera. He's probably in the video. I just can't see him. But I feel like he's here. And I think that's because I've proved to him that I think I've earned his presence. And the more we stray from the path of the more we stray from that straight and narrow path, the more we show him that we're not worthy of his presence. And God's presence is so good. And I know a lot of people don't realize how good his presence is. And I really pray that everybody who doesn't realize how good His presence is, I pray that they one day, I pray that they just for one day have His full presence and knows what it feels like, knows what it looks like. So maybe, just maybe, if for that one day they feel His presence and they realize how good it is, they will strive to keep it. Strive to keep proving to Him that they are worth His presence. In our society, not just our society, but the society around the world, not everybody's godly. And even the godly ones get lost, get so tangled up in our world and what we classify as important. I had another video that I brought up that like bills and grades, stuff like that, are a creation of this world and no other world but this one. And then, a B, a C, A, B, C, D, F that I make on a test tomorrow doesn't affect anything but me. It doesn't affect anybody else on our planet but me. It doesn't affect anything outside our planet. Like if I left our planet, that wouldn't affect me just because it's a creation of this planet. It's a creation of our race. But that was talk for my last video. I lost my freaking point. I don't even remember where I was going with that. But oh yeah, that I feel like that we get so tied up in that type of thing that we don't recognize God being there with us, whether we've earned His presence or not. Now, keep it in mind that whether you've earned His presence or you haven't earned His presence, He's there nonetheless. But maybe that's a good answer. Maybe when you earn His presence, maybe that's when you can. Maybe that's when you see Him and you know that He's there. And I'm not talking about physically seeing Him standing there like you would see your brother or sister, or physically see a person. I mean, you see Him in what He does. And in the past, I have prayed for signs from God on what to do in a situation where I was very confused on what to do. And I have to say that He's answered my prayers very, very, very quickly in the past. Now, sometimes He doesn't answer very fast, and sometimes He does, but when He doesn't answer as fast as I would like, it's for a good reason, and I just don't know what the reason is. I read a verse in the Bible one day that said, I'm paraphrasing to a great degree here, but pretty much what it meant was, don't worry about what you will eat. If you trust in the Lord, it will be there, no matter what. Now, when I lived with my mother, when I lived with my mom and stepdad and sister, I went to high school, of course, and I would get home from high school at about 4:30 and go to work at a grocery store at 5 o'clock. And if you watch my anxiety video, I struggle with I have some anxiety problems today, but back then it was really intense. I didn't have the knowledge I had about it today. Anyway, on the way home, back in high school, I couldn't eat lunch because I was so anxious. It wouldn't let me eat. So I would skip lunch, and I'd go home, and I'd be so worried about there being food in the cabinet for me. Because it's not like my mother starved us. It was just our cabinets weren't always full because maybe she needed to go grocery shopping or something. Something like that. But there was always something to eat. But I'm getting off topic. I would come home and I would worry so much about there being food, and it would be hard to find. Like, I would have to dig for it. I might have to even, make something myself. Not that I minded. I didn't mind at all. Or I might have to go pick something up, or, something like that. And it was around that time that I read that verse. And on the exact day I stopped worrying about what would be there to eat, I read this verse and I figured, well, I might as well try it, because if I keep worrying, I've always been a very religious man. But if I just said, if I keep worrying, it's going to always be the same. It's always going to be, I'm always going to have to dig and rush and hurry to find some food. Because it was never hard. Don't think it was hard. It was just, I would always be in a rush. And I would always be late for work almost. But as soon as I stopped worrying like I had been, I'd come home and there'd be something, I would find something within like 30 seconds. And have a great deal of time to get to work. I wasn't late anymore. And I hate it so bad, I really dislike it, that people didn't see that happen. I tried to explain it to my grandmother, and my grandmother is a very religious, faithful woman. And I'm not saying she didn't think I was right. But when I told her about this food thing, there was a little bit of silence on the other end of the line because I was talking to her on the phone. And I think she had a hard time imagining what that was like, because maybe it hadn't happened to her yet. And that's what I mean. I really don't like that. It's hard to explain because people don't know what it feels like. Or she didn't. Some people don't. Some people might not know what it feels like. Some people probably do. But I think if people read the Bible more, and really believed it. I'm not saying people who read it don't believe it. I'm not saying I know everything. But I feel like if you read something out of the Bible, like my food example, and you wholeheartedly believe that it was true, it would work for you. And I challenge you to do it. I challenge you to try that. If you have trouble like that, I know a lot of people might not worry about it. I worried about it just because I was nervous and anxious all the time. But some people might be like, oh, there'll be something there. And there's something there because of that rule that God made. But if you do worry about it, and if you're in that same boat that I used to be in, please, I challenge you to not worry about it just for once and see what happens. And I know it'll come through for you. And then the next thing I wanted to bring up, and I'm hoping the friend I'm about to talk about doesn't see it, because my friend would be upset. But I'm gonna keep referring to this person as far away from third person as possible. I'm not gonna say what gender this person is. I'm not even gonna bring up this person's name. But this person feels like that they need to, before this person goes to work and before this person goes to school, they feel like they need to be high on something to function. And I was talking to this person at work one night, or it might have been school or something. It was at school. It was one of my classes, because I don't have a whole lot of friends at school, but this person sits next to me in class, and I finally met this person, and they told me that they felt like that it had to be high to function, and I couldn't go into detail with this person because we were in class, and I couldn't talk to this person because the teacher was teaching, but the teacher was out of the room at this point. But I really wanted to tell this person that they didn't need that to function. I mean, think about it. If you are like this person, you're at home, you're about to go to work, you're about to go to school, and you feel like you should get high just because you feel like that you require that to do anything. But like, think about if you could high and go out to wherever you're going. Like if you're going to a party, it's just for kicks. But if you think you need to get high to go to school, you're at home, you're worried, you get high, you go outside, the grass is still green, the sky is still blue or gray or whatever color it might be, gray because it's raining. There's still water coming out of the ground. The world doesn't change just because you're high. You think it changes because you're high. But another challenge I would like to challenge you is, if you're that kind of person like this person that I know, try going without getting high. You will notice that the trees and the grass are still green, that the wind still blows, that it still rains, the sun still shines. The world goes about it doesn't stop turning. It goes about its business whether you're high or not. And I think that's a good message to put out there to people who feel that way. I know I have a small channel and they might not ever see this, but I hope one day they will. It might be 20 years down the road, but I hope that's the purpose of this video. Because I don't expect it to help somebody tomorrow. It's on the internet forever for a reason. It's only here forever because somebody might see it. Maybe even 50 years down the road, they might dig deep into these archives and find this video, and it might help them. And they might not crash their flying car because they're not high because they watched my video. And thank you, flying car driver, if that's what happened. But, you know, that relates a lot to the anxiety video that I made. Is that whether you're anxious or not, the world still turns. There's still storms. The wind still blows. Trees still stand. Leaves still fall. Grass still lives. Stuff like that. Whether you're anxious or not. Whether you're high or not. Drunk or not. I was watching TV one time and a celebrity, I'm sure a lot of them do this, and maybe one of them will see this video, but a celebrity said that they used to feel like they had to be drunk to be on stage. And I'm not saying they're a horrible person for that, but they're out of that now, and I'm very happy for them. I don't even know this person, and I'm very happy for them that they're not doing that anymore. But think about it. Whether that celebrity went out on stage drunk or not, there were still people. There was still a stage. The world still turned. Nothing changed but that person's feeling. And our feelings are so small and minute, like anxiety. If we can control our feelings, we can control the world, in our opinion. Now, if we're relaxed, as we can be when we go out, we can accomplish so much more than if we're not relaxed. Me, as a person, I like to help people. You might have, if you saw any of my anxiety video or my ramblings video, I said it in one of those videos, but I like to help people, and I love to see people beat things, like being obese, being anxious about giving a speech. I told a story in one of my classes one time, and I was a little nervous just because just pre-speech anxiety. But, once I got up there and started talking, I was very comfortable. I could have been naked and I wouldn't have cared. But I can tell when people are nervous just because I know what it feels like, and I know what I did and do when I'm nervous. And I could tell a lot of people in the class were nervous, and one was a soldier, and he had been in combat situations, and he was nervous giving a speech in front of a class in America, a class of his friends and peers. But, and I love to see that person get up there and do it successfully and finish it. It makes me happy to see people realize that they can do things, that they don't have to be afraid. And it makes me very happy. Because when I see people walking up to the podium or to the stand with shaky hands, I know for a fact that those shaky hands are going to go away in a little bit. If not, they're going to get through that speech or that interview with shaky hands, and it's all going to be okay. If you're in an interview and you don't get the job, my throat's still dry, excuse me. No liquids. But if you go into an interview and you don't get the job, it was for a reason. That's the way it was supposed to work out. And I would just like to remind people that no matter how nervous you might be in a situation, you're gonna get through that situation no matter what happens. No matter what, you're gonna get through and be stronger because of it. You just have to have it in your mind that you can get through it, and you will get through it, no matter what. I will try to put a link to my anxiety video in this video, but I haven't been doing YouTube very long, so I don't really know how to do that quite yet. Put links and things. But I'm going to figure it out. And I will warn you, you can always go to my page and find the anxiety video if the link doesn't work or I don't get it on there. But I will warn you, it's a 47-minute video just because I had a lot to say about it. And I take a very strong stance on anxiety. And just because so many people think it's unbeatable, but it's very beatable. It bruises like a banana, breaks like glass. It's a very frail and simple thing, but we amplify it to such a degree that it bruises like iron or titanium, that it breaks like the same substance. We hold it in such a high regard that people don't feel like. I know a lot of people probably have beaten it, and I'm very happy for you if you have beaten it, because I know what it feels like to overcome it. For the most part, I haven't overcome it completely yet, but some people I know for a fact hold it up to such a high degree that it doesn't bruise like bananas. It doesn't break like glass. In fact, it's the opposite. Like I just said, it bruises like titanium. It bruises and it breaks like titanium, which you all know is the strongest metal that I know of. But if you get in your mind that anxiety bruises like bananas and it breaks like glass, you will be a stronger person, and you'll be able to bruise the anxiety banana. You'll be able to break the anxiety glass ceiling, if you know that term, which is what it is. It's a glass ceiling that holds us back, holds us down. And you can break it. You can break that anxiety glass ceiling. And I want you to know that you can break it. Humans often don't realize the power of our brains. And I know I've heard that the average human only uses 10%. And you might call me crazy, but I'm trying hard. I'm not an expert on it, but I'm trying hard to break that barrier, and I'm trying very hard to use, a higher percent of my brain. But I don't know what techniques to use to do that. I'm trying to learn them. I'm trying to figure them out, and I hope I can. But I don't believe it's like the movie that came out with Scarlett Johansson, Lucy, I think. I don't believe that's what happens, which it might. We don't know. We've never been there. But that's my message for this video. And I thank you all for watching and listening. And I'll see you next time. Click the like button if you enjoyed it. Please share it. I encourage you to share all these types of videos because I really want to help somebody out there. I really want this video to connect with somebody. Because if I know I made your life better, or if I made somebody's life better, that makes my whole week. Makes my whole day. It almost makes the month. Just depends on the situation I'm in. So, like I said, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time. You are awesome people.